Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. This is Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Bob. I'm Griot. I'm just saying, how you doing? Who are you? And what are you doing here? So let's breathe. Many people talk about Jesus, talk about God. Oh, there AI. Thanks for the thumbs up. And I want you to imagine that you are a cell, just a cell. You're not a body. You're a cell in your big toe. Come on, Janie. And the rest of your body is the universe, right? And so you're walking, and then you're kind of jogging, and you're trying to jog, and your toe is getting jogged on, and your foot is getting jogged on, and your legs are, all those muscles are kind of interacting and going, oh, and your heart is pumping fast, and your lungs are, and but you're still jogging faster and faster, because you want to get, you know, healthy and get so you can jog. And anyway, you do this for a number of weeks. You get to a point where your body is used to it, no longer complains. You know? And now your heart is in better condition, and it's relaxed when you're relaxed, and when you're jogging, it's like normal. Right? It's not like, oh my God, what is this? And the same with your lungs and your muscles and everything else in your body. So that little cell that you are down in your toe is like happy to jog. You thought it was terrible. Why am I being forced to do this? Why am I, why is my life suck? Why do I have all these challenges? Why is, does God hate me? Why am I being punished? And you get sick. Oh, what did I do to get sick? There's so many terrible people who are healthy. Well, me, right? I've been challenged. People look at my life and say, "Well, you're living like a homeless guy in the woods." So, like right now, I only have $4 in my checking account. It would be great if somebody, sent something into my PayPal account, and when I asked for the email account, that's the dude awake 42 at Gmail. The dude awake 42 at Gmail. And you can contact me there if you want to talk about anything personal, because, going on the live chat, always good. Thank you, darling. Coffee. So this is a new place that is opened up, and so they have Wi-Fi. And anyway, it's a little more comfortable than being in my car in the parking lot of the church. Anyway, so I want you to think about who you are. What are you? I continually go on that. You are not your body. This is just a bag of water, right? And your soul is just the server, and your true self, your spirit, consciousness, your spirit, is the thing that is immortal, that lives forever, right? Not this body. This body does not live forever, right? It's limited, warranty. And so the people who go on about whether there's reincarnation or not, it's like your spirit never gets reincarnated. It's who you are. But like in Doctor Who, every time he changes a body, he gets a little confused, and that kind of happens to us. So we're not going anywhere. Time is irrelevant. The only thing that is true about time is that we're here in this moment. That's all there is. This moment. And there are loads of great philosophers and Jesus, Vishnu. They all were connected. They all had the realization. They knew what was going on. And the good news that Jesus was giving to us was that we aren't sinners. We are students. And I invite anyone who watches the show to come on to live chat, to be a student, to be part of the cadre. Uh, 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 old school. Uh-huh. Well, thank you, Jay, for what you do, and it's all good. And I did get that little gift, and I really appreciate that. And everyone who does go to PayPal and goes on to puts a gift into my the dude awake 42 at Gmail. I really appreciate it. And it always gets me right squeaking by, right? So anyway, mm, yes. Anybody wants to communicate with me, my email is the way to go. The dude awake 42 at Gmail. And if you live in America and you want to uh, have a phone call with me, leave your phone number and I'll give you a buzz. Many people have done that. I appreciate that. Right? But the cadre, which are the people who, like Jane here, is a member of the cadre because she comes on and takes part in the chat. Right? Now, a lot of people watch. About 399. Can't quite get over the hump of 400. It'd be nice if we could. And I do this to serve love's co-creation. I'm just here to serve. Not to be an A-lister or I already been that. Did that, done that. Famous, did that, done that. It's infamous. It's just one notch above being famous. And all those things are good, but that's not why we're here. We're here to learn about our spirit, how to ascend into the higher realms, right? So that's where we're at. And I don't know what else to say except pray. A really good prayer is I don't buy anything online either. I mean, I have no place for it to be delivered to. But those are irrelevancies. Like I have all these things physically the doctors say wrong with me, but I take like my the corporate world is confused about who and what I am. That's like they don't have a clue. So they used to give me this drug for diabetes, and now they don't, and so don't have it. So um, what was interesting? What could I do? Instead of my blood sugar going through the roof and dying, no, I just changed my diet, right? And so for a month, I have not had any diabetic medicines or really any medicines, and I changed my diet very, very significantly. And I've been keeping my blood sugar at 90, and I've been keeping my blood pressure, very low and stable, and my cholesterol. I haven't tested it. I don't test it, but in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna go see my endocrinologist. He does a full, thing. But the last time I had it, my cholesterol was doing better, and I was easing into my diet. And basically, I don't have any fast food, no sodas, no candies, no cookies, none of that stuff. And it isn't I can't have it. I can. I was out with a friend 2 weeks ago. They took me out to lunch. Had a cheeseburger, had a roll. You know, and the bakery looked really good, so I had a nice piece of pie. And I went over to their place, and you know, they had some sweets. I had a little of that. But that's all I had. Not a lot, just a little. And my blood sugar really didn't go up at all. I went to 109. not bad. If I keep it between 90 and 120, that's fine. Well, this is true, Jane. There are a number but they're very difficult, and they're not everywhere. Where I'm in the middle of the woods, not there. I have to drive 40, 50 miles to a city, and not all cities have it, and their bureaucracy is some are pretty thick, and they get confused when you don't live in their neighborhood. So you're right, there are, but I lived all around the world. I lived in Asia, I lived in Australia, I lived in Europe, I lived in Africa, and virtually every industrial nation has single payer health care. There are 42 million Americans that have no health care whatsoever. Now, I basically don't have any health care except I'm a smart guy. I learned, where I can go and, who can help me. And I find the best doctor. I don't, you know, the best doctor. And I ingratiate myself and they take care of me because they like me. They are entertained by me. They are informed by me. And so it's a transactional thing. I entertain, I inform, and they take care of me in the best they can because not all the time they can. The diabetes medicine I have costs $1,800 a month, and one of these doctors got me on this program that I was so poor that I fit a certain category. But when that corporation, he said, "Well, you don't even have an address. Where do you live? You're homeless. Oh, huh. Well, yeah. They And that's the problem. See, and again, I'm getting back to the peripheral is not important. It's the internal that's important. Our spirit is what's important, not our bag of water, because that's limited. And we only. It's not that we have one shot at this. We our spirit is. If you're a Christian and you believe in the Bible and what Jesus said, basically, he keeps saying that you are an eternal being. You know, and and I love it when people who call themselves Christian, you know, um, spout out the Bible and they don't even know it. They can't quote it. If you're gonna spout out the Bible, you should like have it right next to you and you read it to out loud. And if I read the Bible all the time. At least 5 or 6 times a week because the Old Testament, man, it's like what all the stories are. I'm a writer. James Joyce said the best writers are the ones who know how to steal. So, and you read a story in the Old Testament, and then you write a story kind of based on that. Not verbatim, but even you can. I mean, I do it all the time, but I put it in quotes and you know say what part of give the number of where the Bible came from. I do that a lot in other books too, and other philosophers and writers. I pick up what they're talking about, especially when I talk about aesthetics and culture. There are a whole bunch of people who were truly brilliant, especially between between 800 and now. There's been some great writers, so I pick up what they say and I paraphrase it, and I always at the end of whatever I say I got this from so and so. I didn't quote them. I didn't copy. I mean, maybe there's a quote or two, but I always tip my hat because a lot of people just a good example is George Lucas. He sat at the feet of Joseph Campbell, and the whole Star Wars thing is straight out of Joseph Campbell's mouth. You ever read his book, The Myth of the Hero? I mean, that's Star Wars. So, and George Lucas did not give a tip of the hat. You know, so George Lucas is a great filmmaker. I really like his stuff. I really like Star Wars, but it would have been nice if he had tipped his hat to him. And the guy who did Star Trek, um, at least he hired writers who were blacklisted guys who wrote really amazing things. And you help. Well, I can't help anyone find Jesus. You know, that's a thing we have to do on ourselves. What I can do is be a good example. So I tried to be the best example for about 18 months, 2 years, and basically, I stopped being. I have three rules that I run on this thing. Doctor, do no harm. Right, number one. Number two, do not get involved unless you have a workable exit strategy to get the innocent out of harm's way. And three, don't get involved unless you can learn something that can be used to help others do their best. So I try to manifest that with John. And at a point, all I was doing was enabling his bad habits, and that's one of the problems with psychotherapy is that you can do that, And
take anything from you?
you can take that. I piled it all up so nicely for you. Yep, and you know,
Want more coffee?
nah.
All right.
I'm trying to not drink that much, but I might get a warm up when I leave. Thank you. Nice person. And so psychotherapy can be an enabler to the bad habits because a lot of psychotherapists just want the money. So they're not really, I mean, there are people who've been in psychotherapy for 20, 30 years. That's like enabling. It's like, being a functional alcoholic. Now, these are all, again, don't believe a word I say. These are just my opinions. Opinions are like your anal port, everyone has one. Um, so, and we've been here 20 minutes. Mm, Gene Roddenberry. Yep, that's the guy, Mr. Star Trek. I really liked him, right? And he really had an interesting worldview. I like that guy. George Lucas, good filmmaker, but anyway, I liked his earlier movies, THX 111 and American Grease or whatever that movie was. And so, someone once asked Mahatma Gandhi, so what do you think of Christian when he was in London? What do you think of Christianity? He goes, well, Jesus, he's my personal savior, but Christians, I have a problem with those guys. I wish they were more like Jesus. It's like Muslims are like Christians on steroids. Hebrews, Muslims, Christians, they all come from the book. They're all cousins, and they should have, and they all have a business plan. Meaning, not every Christian is the same, not every Muslim is the same, not every Hebrew is the same, and some are, just use that religion as a platform for a business thing. So, you know, your relationship with love's co-creation, the great maker, God, is personal, not really religious. And if you're having to use religion as a crutch, you know, I mean, I once wired a church, and there was this really rich guy who was the main patron of this church, and they were like rebuilding it, and he was getting them money, and they had this swimming pool, like the baptismal pool, and the morons who wired it before me uh, did a bad job in grounding, and so if you went in there and you touched that metal railing to get into the pool, you got right? And so the only person who used this was the really rich guy because he did really, really bad things in that church to people. And so he would get reborn again like 3 times a week. Oh, I'm reborn. I'm going to heaven, right? And so as I was fixing everything that the morons didn't do right in the first place, I had that on the last on my list, hoping that because the guy, all right, so I'm doing that. So I put my little maker on. I said, oh, that's quite a bit of voltage. So maybe. So I did. That was the last thing I fixed. And but he was, because maybe he would be shocked straight at some point. So I wasn't going to get in between him and God. It was all between him and God. But before I left, I did fix that problem. And that's the problem with religion. People use it as a transactional thing. John is a pretty. I mean, John's spirit is very good. His experiences have tainted his life, and they haven't been that bad. And a lot of people. I mean, if John thinks being bullied in third grade was traumatizing, he should go live in Syria, getting bombed, you know, or in that place that the Saudis are bombing, you know, or what's going to happen in Afghanistan. Afghanistan's been at war since forever, and so it's uh, good choice, pancakes. Do you have blueberry pancakes?
I wish we did.
Yeah, you just have straight up pancakes. Yeah, well. Anyway, so anyway, boom. War is evil. Well, this is true, but good and bad are relative terms. And you know, when the Nazis were burning books and people, they thought that was the righteous thing to do for National Socialism. You can explain anything away. The United States is great at doing that. We killed 600 million Aboriginal people in North, Central, and South America over a 500-year period, and we're still doing it. Right? That's what those wars down in Central America are. I mean, we manifested those things in Iran Contra, and and we're all self-righteous about ourselves, even though we're killing millions of people, and we permit war because it's good for the bottom line for Lockheed Martin and Boeing and General Dynamics and Ford and Exxon Mobil. We live in a corporate, you know, um, the rich have always run the political thing. I mean, our police are based on the slave guys. I mean, slaves would run away, and slave owners would bounty and those people would go up that. And then the rich of the North said, "Oh, look at these guys," and hired them to be their personal like bodyguards, right? And that's where, I mean, we've only had municipal police in less than 100 years, you know. So, and that's how can you expect the police to do a righteous job when their DNA is so corrupt, and our whole country is corrupt, you know. And this whole, how can you not expect war everywhere, Jane, when we live in a sociopathic world? And the only thing that's going to overcome this is love's co-creation, right? And the best way to, and every day in every way, connect yourself and then manifest this love is to start out every moment in silence.
And I'm on the side of the hate spread of the spreading with my favorite taste.
All right. I'll put that in for you guys.
Thank you. So I'm kind of reading here.
When you breathe in, you're breathing in the prana. Breathing out, you're breathing out the waste products.
No, she had her own.
He said, no, I don't need no money, I got $5.
Oh, but I need to know.
I need somebody to take Hannah to meet Amy when I was about 10 or 11. I think Journey might be nuts. After you tell me how he drives and you say, oh, you can do it.
And every day in every way, take the peace of the earth and make it stronger. Mother Sky, Mother Earth, Holy Spirit, bless us indeed. Increase our territory. Put your hands upon our shoulders. Keep us from evil so we will do no harm. That is an ancient prayer. Covers everything. Very simple, very quick. Say it 10, 15 times a day. Your life will be in balance. Or more in balance. Balance-ish. Anyway. So,
I know, that's what Hannah Ace called it.
there it is, 2626. So again, anyone who wants to send something to PayPal and address it to thedudeawake42@gmail. I would appreciate that. Okay. And if you want to go read my writings, it's over at xratted.blogspot.com. And the other thing is, remember, don't believe a word I say. You have to find these things out for yourself. I'm just giving you little breadcrumbs, showing you a little path. You don't have to follow.
How do you feel?